Hello besties, welcome back to my channel, or welcome back if you're new. Today I have a few spicy K-pop opinions for you, and you might not be ready to hear some of them. As usual, I'm reminding you that these are only my personal opinions and you might not agree with every single thing I say. So if you want, let me know your thoughts down below. But now, if you're ready for some spicy stuff, then let's get started. You're not quirky for being a second or third gen stan. Some stans take pride in saying they do not stan any fourth gen group because they only put out noise music or because they are underwhelming and uninteresting. But I promise you, no one gives a fuck about what you think. You're not quirky for standing second or third gen groups because according to you they make real music. You're not superior, you're just pathetic. You can stan whoever you want without having to discredit and invalidate others. Second and third gen artists are not superior. They're normal idols just like fourth gen idols, and you're just a normal stan like fourth gen stans. I promise you you're not special, bestie. There is no problem if idols want attention. Excuse me, if you decided to become an idol it means you like attention. You like to have people watching you. You like having cameras around you and you like being in the spotlight. Otherwise you would have picked a very different job. So I really don't see the problem if an idol likes receiving attention. That's like the whole point of being in the entertainment industry. Also, liking attention doesn't mean being cocky or narcissistic. It just means enjoying being in the spotlight. That's literally it. It doesn't mean that the idol is a bad person who only cares about themselves and gives no fucks about the others. It just means they enjoy having people's eyes on them, which is pretty different from having a superiority complex and being narcissistic. NewJeans' promotional strategy won't work in the long run. By promotional strategy I mean releasing songs out of the blue, which is exactly what they did at debut. Nobody knew when they were gonna come out with their debut songs. There was no teaser, no concept photos, no info whatsoever. This is something that can work in the beginning as a wow factor. People are taken by surprise and are even more curious to check the songs out. But I feel like this won't work in the long run because the wow factor will disappear. Not to mention it's not great considering fans cannot prepare in advance for the comeback by organizing for streaming and voting. I'm not sure dropping music out of the blue will be beneficial. Of course the girls will always be relevant and successful, but I feel like this strategy can easily get old and be a bit detrimental in the long run. Idols are idols, not your personal comedians. Idols don't have to be crackheads. They can be shy, they can be introverts, they can be quiet, and they don't have to behave like clowns at the circus. I don't care that you want idols to be chaotic to entertain you. Not everyone is like that. And just because they aren't clowns it doesn't mean they're boring. Just because they are quiet it doesn't mean they have no personality. They don't owe you anything. Not to mention humor is subjective. You and me might not find the same things funny, which is okay. So in conclusions, idols are idols, not clowns that have to crack out jokes for your entertainment. It's not groups that should change their sound to fit your taste. It's you that should just start listening to other groups. People complain about groups changing their sound and concept all the time, and I can understand that. I also find myself somehow disappointed if a group who had a sound I really love then changes it completely. But that's my cue to move on. Move on and find another group because maybe that group just isn't for me anymore. What's the point in standing a group if every time they have a comeback you have to complain about how much you dislike their new sound? Just find another group to stan. It's not that hard. You can't expect groups to do exactly what you want. You should surround yourself with groups that do what you love instead. Otherwise you will only end up being unsatisfied. I know maybe you have an emotional attachment to a group and it's not easy to stop following them even if you stop liking their music. Maybe you're still attached to the members a lot and I can understand that. But you should really try to move on instead of always complaining. NMIXX are doing an awesome job at building an identity through their music. As much as you may dislike their songs, you cannot deny that at least they're building an identity. They are making their own sound. So much that when you hear a song you instantly know if it's an NMIXX song. And this is super important. There are so many groups out there who fail to craft a sound for themselves. And the truth is that they don't have a specific sound. Of course, it's not really a problem if a group doesn't have a specific sound. But it's great being able to build a cohesive discography that has a specific vibe and style. I'm happy NMIXX is continuing to mix multiple songs into one. It would have been stupid abandoning this concept since it's literally their trademark and it is also expressed by their name. So I'm glad JYP is sticking to it despite the backlash. At the end of the day I think it's extremely important for a group to have a signature sound. And NMIXX is really doing a good job with it. Kepler are doing a terrible job at building an identity through their music. Contrary to NMIXX, Kepler's sound and concept is all over the place. They are failing miserably at creating an image for themselves. It feels like they change concept with every new thing they release, which is a very bad thing for a rookie group, especially because they are a temporary group and they have way less time to build an identity compared to other groups. So when they will disband I wonder how we will perceive them once we look back at their career. I feel like they will just become a group without an identity, and that's why they don't stand out compared to other rookie groups. This is making me so mad because Girls Planet's whole concept was space-themed, so it would have made a lot of sense sticking to the space concept, A whole sound and identity could have been crafted around space and planets. But no, only Wedudda included a couple space references. Everything else they put out is just all over the place, and it's making the group lose so much hype. Shutdown is underwhelming compared to Pink Venom. Ever since Pink Venom came out, I've heard nothing but criticism being thrown at the song. Nobody seems to like it, and I do agree that it's not Blackpink's best. But I can't help but feeling like it had so much more impact musically wise compared to Shutdown. Shutdown kinda falls flat for me. Like, it's not bad, but Pink Venom is much more of a bop and it's much more memorable. I personally prefer everything about it. The rap, the pre-chorus, the chorus, everything. So yeah, Pink Venom is much more slayful in my opinion. But like I always say when it comes to songs, music taste is subjective, so at the end of the day it all comes down to your personal preference and there isn't a right or wrong opinion. Step Back's lyrics were never a big deal. As you know, many people have expressed their disliking towards the lyrics that seem to be about a woman who is trying to steal their man. People have said that the lyrics are terrible because they are normalizing pitting women against each other and making them fight for men's attention. Although the lyrics were not my favorites and I believe there could have been a better way to show empowerment, I also think people are exaggerating in saying that these lyrics disrespect women. If a boy group was singing about being better than the guy who wants to steal their girlfriends, and telling that guy to back off, none of you would have a problem with it. But just because it's a girl group talking about being better than the girl who wants to steal their man, then you say it's misogynistic. When you are actually being the misogynistic ones if you are okay with boy groups having certain lyrics but you're not okay with girl groups having them. The lyrics aren't that bad and people just love complaining about anything that idols do. K-pop stans only see things as black or white. An idol is either Beyoncé, or they're a bad vocalist. An idol is either Eminem, or they're a bad rapper. Some of you are unable to understand that not everything is black or white. There's always an in-between. There are idols that are far from being the best vocalists in the industry. But this still doesn't mean they're bad. They're just okay. Nothing more, nothing less. Another example is about scandals. Someone has to be the bad guy, and someone else has to be the victim. But in reality it doesn't work like that. Maybe both people are at fault. For example, in the Garam situation, yes, she might have been acting aggressively towards the supposed victim, but the supposed victim literally leaked inappropriate pictures of one of Garam's friends. So both parties did something wrong. Both parties are at fault. Some things are neither black nor white and you have to realize that. Well besties, we have reached the end of the video. These were some spicy K-pop opinions that maybe you weren't ready to hear. Feel free to tell me what you think, whether you agreed or disagreed. And also, feel free to comment some other opinions of yours if you have any. Thanks again for watching. Bye guys.